Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Streamable Horror. And for today's episode we're going to be looking at the 2014 movie Creep, which is available right now on Netflix and is rated R. So let's get on with the plot. So the movie is about a freelance photographer who is hired by somebody who says they have cancer to record his final moments. And it's slowly revealed throughout the movie that the guy that hired him is a psychopath. And it's a very simple story, but it's actually a really effective one throughout the movie because it slowly reveals his psychopathic tendencies throughout the entire movie, and it doesn't just show it all at once, where it's like when you watch Halloween, it's already implied as soon as you see Michael Myers that he's a psychopath. But when you see something like this, it's a slow burn. You don't really realize something's wrong until the very end. There's always an uneasy feeling throughout the movie that something is wrong, but you don't really get to that feeling until about halfway mark that something is really wrong and that this guy is really bad. So I think the plot is actually very effective for what it's trying to get at, which is really good for a horror film, especially one that's a low budget. And it's also a found footage movie, which can throw some people off, but I think the found footage is used kind of sparingly because it's not too shaky like something like and it's not something like Paranormal Activity, but it's not too shaky like Cloverfield can be. It's very well shot, especially for a found footage movie, which is great for it. There's some weird effects that they add in there, but besides that, it's all very good. And the plot is really good, actually. So let's get on to the violence and gore. I really don't have much to talk about here. There's nothing really violent in this movie. The only thing that's kind of violent is the last scene, which I don't want to spoil because you should watch this movie. But there's nothing really extremely violent about it. There's not any gore, actually, most likely. And it's actually pretty tame compared to most horror films, except for there's a little bit of nudity. But besides that, yeah, it's not very gory or graphic at all. So you don't have to worry about this being a super gory film like the last movie I did, Autopsy of Jane Doe. It's more of a tamer, more calm horror film where you can watch it while just being disturbed, not by being disturbed by the gore. This film is extremely effective in any way. The jump scares and the creepy factor is very high. And basically what I said in the horror category is that this film is extremely effective and very well done. So expect to be disturbed and expect to be creeped out throughout the entire runtime, except for maybe the first 10 minutes, but past that, when they first get to that house, the entire movie just switches. And Mark Duplass's character is extremely disturbing throughout, and that's why I'm going to go on to who would like this and final thoughts. So I have a few final thoughts on this film, and it's basically this is one of the best horror films of the past few years, and also one of the, probably, if not the best found footage film I've ever seen in my life. The acting in this film is so well done, and it's probably the best acting I've ever seen in a found footage film. Even though this film is clearly made for nothing, the acting is pretty good, and basically everybody in this film did an excellent job. This film is extremely creepy and extremely disturbing, if not one of the most disturbing films ever put into found footage, even more so than something like Paranormal Activity and Grave Encounters, which are some of the most disturbing found footage movies out there. This one is pretty gross, and its found footage style doesn't really hinder it. While some movies with the found footage can be hindered by that fact, this one is not. This one just goes with that and sails with it. So that is why I'm going to say for most people that this is a recommendation. And this is a great film, and go watch it now if you can before it can get kicked off of Netflix, because this film is one of the best films on that platform, so go watch it now. Anyone can watch this film, not too scary, but it is extremely disturbing, so I'd say go watch it now. And even if you're not a horror film fan, just watch it. It's not very scary, just watch it. It's a great film. And that's why I give it a recommendation. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next week.
Like and subscribe for more amazing content.